Hi, I'm Brett Larkin, and this video is my top pick. So my personal favorite yoga mats of 2015, 2016, what I really liked after going through all of Yoga Mat Week, which was actually a lot longer than a week. Many of you know that I actually filmed way too many videos for Yoga Mat Week, so there's gonna be a future Yoga Mat Week. So get excited if you're seeing this after September, because there is gonna be more Yoga Mat Weeks on my channel, more giveaways. But to kind of tie this current Yoga Mat Week up in a bow, it's a bow, I did want to just kind of recap what my personal favorites are, what my picks are for you guys, because I know it's been really overwhelming because there's so many awesome mats. So while I loved both the Yoga Design Lab mat and the Yoloha Cork Yoga mat, to me these are both yoga mats that are kind of an additional mat you'd buy if you're doing vinyasa yoga, right? If you're just doing Bikram or purely hot yoga, maybe these mats would be a good choice for you. But likely if you're someone in my community doing majority, my videos, which are vinyasa and not heated, not hot yoga, you want a mat that can kind of handle sweat, but is, generally for non-hot yoga. And while I love both these mats, I think that they are, again, like an extra mat that you would have in your house for hot yoga specifically. So they wouldn't be your main mat. If you lived by the ocean and were doing SUP yoga all the time, stand-up paddleboard yoga with Yoloha, maybe with Yoga Design Lab mat, if you're constantly sweating or you're drenching the mat every single time, the towel top Yoga Design Lab mat could be a good pick. But honestly, I think these are secondary mats, so they aren't in my top. That being said, I do have them to give away. So if someone is, doing more hot yoga or lives near water and you're excited about getting a Yoloha mat or a Yoga Design Lab mat for free, you definitely want to enter the contest. Details on how to do that are below, and I just wanted you guys to know that these two are two that I am doing giveaways for. I think it's even better because even if you have a mat you already really like, you could still enter to win one of these guys. And just so you guys know, the exact Yoga Design Lab mat that I'm going to be giving away is this one. It is wrapped and totally unused. Of course, if you prefer mine instead, of course, I'm always happy to ship you my personal one as well. Okay, so if you are someone who sweats a lot, you're doing heated vinyasa yoga, or you just tend to get really, really sweaty, the Gayam Soul Dry Grip, guys, you can't go wrong with that mat, okay? It's at an unbeatable price. I think it's something like in the 60s, maybe $68, and it just is so slip resistant, right? I think that mat is like a magic trick in the way that it really absorbs and handles water. So if safety is your number one concern, I would go with that mat. Personally, for me, I felt sort of like I was doing yoga on a rubber tire. So I didn't love it for myself personally, just because I like a little bit more texture and give. This is a very personal thing, guys. So, if that's not you, the Gayam Soul Dry Grip is a great choice at a great price. But that's the reason it's not sort of at the top of my list, just because I personally like that texture and that give. So that is why Jade is probably my number one pick. I hate to say number 1, 2, 3, but Jade is in my top 3. And I have this beautiful blue Jade mat to give away. It's perfectly new. It has a little bit of something on this end that I think will just wash off. It's basically perfect. So if you want a new Jade mat in this beautiful blue color, I'm going to be giving this away. This is my own personal Jade mat in purple, and yeah, the only con with the Jade mat, it smells a lot of rubber when you first get it. It can wear easier than, say, a closed cell mat, but honestly, unless you're doing vigorous psycho yoga every single day, 3 times a day, like the wear and tear issue, I really don't think is that big a factor. Yes, Jade mats absorb things like moisture, which is good, but it absorbs sweat and bacteria too, like we looked at in that open cell versus closed cell video. But again, if you just have like a pretty normal practice once a day or a couple times a week, Jade is just going to be great for you. And my favorite thing about Jade is how it really moves with you. There's that dynamicness of the mat because of its open cells, sort of springy, malleable nature. And I personally just love that. I really, really like it. I feel like it gets me deeper into poses. So Jade is in my top 3. Yeah, Also in my top 3 is the Lifeform yoga mat from the United Kingdom, which I had never heard of and you guys told me about, so thank you. This mat is so unique, so watch the full review on this mat if you haven't already, but basically it has alignment lines that are textured built into the mat, so this mat is helping you find your alignment through marks that are actually on the mat and slightly raised. It's really cool. It's unlike anything I've ever seen, and I had one of the best yoga classes of the past year on this mat, and I don't know if I just went to a really good class or if I was really using the mat and like aligning my hands in every single down dog and aligning my feet and correcting all these subtle alignment details that even those of us who practice frequently can forget. The alignment lines on this mat are awesome, and after practicing with it, I'm sort of shocked that more companies haven't copied Lifeform and just put alignment lines on all their mats, because it's kind of a no-brainer. And the way they've done it, you can just tell that they've really sort of A/B tested this mat, had a lot of yogis give them feedback on it, because the texturing of the alignment lines is really just perfect. It has cushioning. It is as sweat-proof as the Gaiam sole. So again, like that absorbing water, like a magic trick thing. I thought maybe the fact that it didn't have texture like the Gaiam sole would bother me, and it kind of does, but the mat makes up for that with the alignment lines, right? Because the alignment lines are so special and are so different, and I did feel so safe. So again, this mat is in my top 3. The con here, right, is that this mat is expensive. It is $115 for the travel size and $140 for the full mat. Okay, that does include a yoga mat case. They do mail you a case that comes with the mat, so you don't have to buy a yoga mat bag, and it comes with the strap so you can carry it around, so that's pretty cool. But if you're going to invest in something that really is going to take your practice deeper, this is a really special one, guys. Oh, and because I think I forgot to mention this, guys, I am going to be giving this Lifeform mat away. So I have used it and have tested it. So it is slightly used, but pretty much I've just used it once or twice. And I am giving this one away with the case as well. Okay, this is the Hugger Mugger Para yoga mat. This is my number 4, okay? So not in my top 3, just because I liked the other mat I'm gonna talk about next more, but this is a great mat. This is a great alternative to a jade mat. It's a little thicker and a little more stable, so if you're into jade and into rubber mats and really want something non-slip, but don't want that kind of give or super open cellness of jade, this is such a good option for you. Again, it's the Hugger Mugger Para. It is valued at over $100, but at Yoga Outlet you can get it for, I think it's $68, so just a great deal. It's heavy, and again, it has all the kind of positive qualities of a jade mat, except it's not as givey, it doesn't move with you as much, which I also liked. And I could tell that this mat wasn't going to wear as quickly as jade because it's not as open cell and porous. It wasn't getting dirty, you know, like jades can tend to do. I find like my jade just collects dust and stuff from my feet and, you know, requires a lot of cleanliness. I still love it. It's still in my top 3. Jade's amazing. But, you know, this mat's just not as open cell, so it's just going to just stay cleaner. I was a big fan of this one. Okay, and the last mat in my top 3 for this Yoga Mat Week is the Manduka Eco. And Manduka and I felt like a tumultuous relationship throughout Yoga Mat Week, because I feel like Manduka mats are everywhere. They're in every yoga studio. We hear so much about them. They have incredible distribution as a company. They're a cool company. So I really wanted to like their mats, and I felt like when I tested the Pro and the Pro Lite, I wasn't feeling it. I thought the Pro Lite was definitely not water resistant enough for me to feel safe or recommend it to people. I felt the Pro was much better, and the Pro is, you know, a big Cadillac of a mat. It's also expensive, $100, very cushiony. But when I tried the Manduka Eco, I kind of just fell in love without even meaning to or expecting to. Definitely watch the full review on this mat, but the synopsis is basically that this mat doesn't have the fabric-like texture of the Pro Series, which I think makes the Pro Series, you know, have a long time to break in. And, you know, what's great about the Pro Series is there's no latex because it's, you know, rubber-free. And just as a recap, guys, if the mat says it has natural rubber contains latex, okay? So just something to be aware of there. So with the Manduka, you know, it's getting back with the Eco to that kind of rubberness of Jade and the Hugger Mugger Para that I clearly like, just because, you know what, they hold up to water better. They hold up to sweat better. They're more non-slip than the mats, than the Pro Series, in my opinion. The Eco has these little waves on it for grip, and you know, it's as heavy or almost as heavy as the Manduka Pro, but it just doesn't feel as bulky. I don't know. I unexpectedly fell in love with the Manduka Eco, and it's $88, which is, you know, I think a pretty reasonable price point for, you know, a high-class Manduka mat. So I also think the Eco would be something to check out. So to recap the recap, we have Jade, the Lifeform yoga mat, and the Manduka Eco as my top 3, with the Hugger Mugger Para and the Gaiam Sole Dry Grip coming very closely behind. I want to thank all of you so much for hanging out with me for Yoga Mat Week, for kind of going on this journey with me. I was kind of scared. I didn't know if people would be upset that I wasn't posting classes for a week or two while we kind of deep dove into all of this. And the support and love has just been amazing for this whole week, but also in our community with everyone sharing their mantras, and I want to keep that going, and I have some ideas of how to do that. But make sure to check out and watch the video. There's a link to it below this for how you can win a mat and share your mantra with me and the rest of the community, because there's still a couple days to enter to win one of the mats that I talked about here. And of course, give this video a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed, and from my heart to yours, namaste.